Good evening, everybody. How's it going? Well, I was going to stay here and chill out today, but I had to go get some food. So I'm back, and it was warm this morning. The sun came out, and the sun went in now. It looks like it wants to rain. So it's just a little bit breezy, and it's cooling down nice. Shirt on and no sweating. So if there's a little bit of wind, I got the ears on the camera so to stop the wind from playing with the mic, but if it's a little bit of wind and noisy, I apologize. So let's get straight to it. Why am I here today? Because I keep getting asked questions about living in Thailand, and I got two really good emails, and I thought I want to talk about those because I think, you know, I talk about living in Thailand based on what my experience, and just a little bit about my experience, the way I approach things. You know, I've traveled a lot. I've been blessed to be able to travel a lot. You know, I've been to the Arctic Ocean. I've been to down as far as the Falkland Islands, sat on a beach with penguins and sea lions, and I've been back and forth from Europe to Asia, back and forth via you know, England and over to Asia, back and forth to America. And but one time I flew from Thailand to Korea, to Hong Kong, to Hawaii, and so I've been around the world one time, back and forth around Europe. I've been to Iceland, lived there, lived a lot of places, so I've done a lot of traveling, and I adopted a kind of mindset on how to travel, and I've never talked about it before. Not necessary, everybody has their own way, but I got my laptop here with one email, and I wrote down a note from somebody else. A guy, I won't give you his last name, but Jerry B. Your question on Facebook was, he says, I like your, this, I'm summarizing so I don't spend a long time. I like your vlogs, I've learned a lot, there's a lot of information in, and one thing he talks about fear of traveling and things like that. There's no need to fear traveling. If you do your homework and investigate, you'll come to a point where you think, oh, I'm tired of investigating. Well, then you know you got all your information. So anything that you want, you'll find through investigation. So another one, but I got one here from, I forgot this guy's name. I'll come to it later. I got his email, but it's a long email and his name's at the end, so I don't have my mouse here. I'm using the cursor on the laptop. So I don't want this to be long-winded, so I'm trying to get to the point. So can I read it, please? So, hi Kevin, I saw you from YouTube channel that you were creating this Facebook. I'm not sure if it's a closed group or not, but if it is, I want to join it, okay? So this guy's from England originally. He's lived 16 years in Spain, and he's coming here later in the year, November, and he'll be 50 when he arrives. So here's some of his, yeah. So I'm just trying to paraphrase him so I can be fast. Question 1. I will be 50 when I arrive in Thailand. That being said, and bear in mind that I will only be there for 5 months initially, what type of visa to get? Okay, so what type of visa to get? If you're going to stay for 5 months, then the best one to get is a double entry visa. And I would suggest, this is only my advice, okay, so do your own investigation. So I would suggest you go to the Thai embassy and apply for a double entry visa. And what that is it allows you to, the reason I say get it before you come is you have it in your passport already. So when you arrive here, you have your visa. There's other ways to do it, but this is what I'm thinking with my experience. The simplest way is get the visa before you arrive. And so when you enter the country, you can stay 3 months. So it's a double entry visa. You come, you can stay 3 months, and then you can get a van. There's a guy called Andy. I'll try to remember to put it in the description. I think he's from Belgium, has a visa service. He'll drive you from Bangkok, depending on which visa you need. He goes to the border, and then you basically just, I mean, you can get a van from Bangkok to the border town. You walk across the border, You get your stamps, and then you turn around once you're officially in Cambodia, and you walk back in to Thailand, and you just take a little day sack with you, washing and shaving stuff, and then you walk back into Thailand, and then you have another 3 months. You don't pay any extra money. As far as I didn't, they just stamp you and say, okay, go. The only hassle is you have to stand and wait and go. You stand and wait. You know what it's like. Hurry up and wait. So so I would say double entry visa. Get it from the Thai embassy before you leave the country. That way you can stay here for 3 months. You leave the country. I mean, you just go out in the early morning and come back in 2 hours later, however long it takes you to go all the way through and back again. Get on the van and come back, and then you have your 2 months or however long it is you need. But the double entry gives you basically 6 months. So that's my suggestion. So to bring the money into the country, I know somebody who bought quite a lot of money in his pocket, like in a bum bag or money belt, bought it in on his person. I don't know what the legal limit is, but if you're in England, you can phone Thomas Cook and contact your bank and ask them how much money you can take out the country legally. If you want to take extra, that's up to you. If you bring the money into the country on a double entry visa, you cannot open a bank account. You have to have a working visa or a retirement visa to get a bank account. Okay, so what I did is I had a bank in England called Lloyd's, and I have a deposit account with a Visa card, and you can put the money in, put the card in the machine, and you just take out your money. The downside of that is my Lloyd's will charge me £8 every time I use it. So when I was traveling around the world, I used that. It was okay. And the good thing about Lloyd's is if somebody steals money out of your account, and you just file a complaint or a logger, whatever it's called, and they put the money straight back in your account. Even though somebody stole it by you using your credit card or whatever, Lloyd's are great. So, but what I would suggest is you can bring it by cash. Maybe you can get a prepaid credit card that you can use. But even credit cards, be careful who you give the credit card to, because in India, what happened is one person took my credit card details from my hotel and sent it to a friend of his in another part of India that I'd never been to, and then they bought stuff with that credit card. And I said, when I got back to England, I looked at my bank statement. I said, hey, what's this? I don't know who that is. And I contacted Lloyd's. Lloyd's gave me my money back without even questioning it. That's excellent. I don't know who else does that, but I've dealt with Lloyd's since I was 16. So credit cards you can use here. They have all the credit cards. Everything you can think of they have here. In the smaller shops, like in the markets and stuff, they won't take credit cards, cash only. But if you go to any, like a mall or a bigger shop, computer shops, things like that, they'll take a credit card, but some of them will charge you 3%. The question is, do you order back from your home country or just credit card once you get there? What I would say is, the exchange rate is probably better here, but I don't want to come into the country if I don't have any money in my pocket, because I'm just a bit of a survival nut. I have to have everything prepared. So you can go to the travel people, or you can go to a bank and order. I think banks may be a little bit better. I don't know. You do your research and find out which is the best exchange rate, and maybe bring a couple of, maybe £1,000 worth or €1,000 worth of baht in your hand, and the rest in your own currency. And then as you find the exchange rate fluctuating, you can go to different places to get it. But I would bring some baht by hand in your grimy mitt, okay? So you have money. Or the other thing is you can do is use your credit card to when you get here, so you have something in your hand. It's up to you, but I would bring it in my wallet already, so I don't have to think about it, okay? Okay, so the other one was, what about a phone? If you land at Suvarnabhumi, the big airport here, that's the international flights from Europe and so on. Dongmuir Airport, they're more of Asia, they cater more for Asia and Thailand, but I presume in Dongmuir they have the same thing. I haven't been through there in a long time, But I know I've been through, I went to Suwamapu a couple months ago to collect somebody. As soon as you come out, right in that area, you can get a SIM card. But when you get the SIM card, I think they'll give it to you for like, you know, the first time I ever got one was, I was only here for a month, 28, you know, the 30-day visa, and they give it to you for 30 days. And but it lasted like 6 months or something, and they turned it off. It's like a temporary number, I guess. But if you're going to stay for 5 months, make sure you say to them you're here for 5 months, so that they give it to you, or 6 months, so they give it to you longer. And then it's prepaid, so you just put on it how much you want on it, and you can make phone calls. If you're not going to make any phone calls to anywhere, you know, but you just want it for emergencies or something, because you can use Wi-Fi in coffee shops and things like that, so for free. So you know, one of the ways that people communicate a lot in Thailand and in Asia is through an app called Line. It's a green square with white and L-I-N-E. It's called Line. And you can make phone calls on that. So if you get to a Wi-Fi and you want to call somebody locally, you can call through Line for free. Okay? I'm not sure if you have somebody in another country and you call online. I think it also works. I'm pretty sure I've done it. So if they have a good connection and you have a good connection, you can make a phone call. Okay. So that's everything, I think. And I just want to read this here. It says, thank you very much. It's the little things like the above that I can't seem to find from vloggers. Oh, one more thing. Haha, mobile phone. Okay, I covered that. And he said, maybe you can do a video about it. Here I am. Okay, so back to Jerry B. Oh, what was that guy's name? I wanted to tell you his name. Nope, I didn't copy his name. Sorry. So Jerry B says, I fear about traveling, I worry about this and that. I'm like, okay, I can understand if you haven't traveled much before. And I can tell you this, you know, I've traveled a lot, but as you get older, you worry just a little bit more because you think, I'm not sure about this. And you know, you can't walk for as long, you can't cope with the heat. The heat will cripple you if you're not used to it. So I would say, you know, plan everything and plan so you don't have to spend so much time in the heat, because as you get older in the heat, tired, and make sure you're drinking a lot so you don't get dehydrated. But other than that, there's no problems. So to finish, I would just like to say this. There's no need to fear if you do your research and you know what you're doing. You know, you can say, okay, I'm going to get off the plane, I have BAT in my pocket, I've got to clear customs, I come out the other side, I get my SIM card. You can book a hotel before you get here, is what I would suggest. You know, maybe like a 3-star, it depends. If you've got millions of dollars or millions of pounds in the bank, 5-star hotel. But if you're living on a budget when you're traveling, then maybe book something for like what I always do is book a nice hotel for like 2 or 3 days for when you first arrive. Then you get out in Suwamapu, you come downstairs outside, there's taxis there. You jump in a taxi, you show them the hotel that you want to go to. They take you to the hotel, you get something to eat, go to your room, have a good shower, you have a nice hotel for 2 days, and in that time you can go find somewhere else or stay there, it's up to you. And then you start your traveling from there, okay? So, that's it. I hope that, I know it's long-winded and somebody's going to say chatterbox, but I don't care. I passed on the data as best I can. It was really a lot of data to get in a short time, so I talk fast. But I wanted to share this information to help somebody. So the 2 guys that I did it for, and anybody else, okay? So, guys, be safe, be healthy, look after yourselves, smile at somebody, be safe, and look after yourself. Until next time, see you guys, bye.